Welcome to Don Bosco in a Year podcast.
Day 42. The Oratory outdoors. The Oratory in a field. With deep regret and no little inconvenience to our assemblies in March of 1846, we had to leave the Morita house and rent a field from the Philippi brothers. Today, an iron foundry or smelting works occupies this ground. There I was, under the open sky, in the middle of the field, bounded by a broken down hedge, which gave free admission to all and sundry. The youngsters, between 300 and 400 of them, looked upon their oratory as heaven on earth, even though its ceiling and walls were the sky. But in a place like this, how could one hold religious services? Doing the best we could, we held catechism classes, sang hymns, sang vespers, then Dr. Borelli or I would stand on a hillock or on a chair and give a short sermon to the youth, who came up close to hear it. For confessions, this is how we managed. I would be in the field early on feast day mornings, where many would already be waiting for me. I would sit on a hillock, hearing one's confession, while others were preparing or making their thanksgiving. Afterwards, many went back to the games. At a fixed time of the morning, all the boys assembled in answer to a bugle call. A second blast of the bugle brought them to silence, giving me a chance to speak and tell them where we were going for Mass and Holy Communion. Since we often trust to centers a good distance away, I will describe one hike we did to Supergop, which was typical of the others. When the boys had collected in the field, we let them play bocce, piastrelle, still talking, etc. for a while. A drum was sounded, then a bugle call, to call them together and signal that we were ready to move out. We usually arranged that all of them should have heard Mass beforehand. Soon after 9, we set out for Superga. Some carried baskets of bread, some cheese, salami, fruit, or other provisions for the day. They kept quiet till we were outside the populated parts of the city. But from then on, they began yelling, singing, and shouting, though they kept ranks. On reaching the foot of the hill, where the path climbs to the basilica, I found a lovely little pony, already saddled up, which Father Joseph Anselmati, pastor of the church, had put up at my disposal. There was also a note from Dr. Borelli, who had gone on ahead. It read, "Come along with our dear boys, and don't worry, the soup, the dinner, and the wine are ready." I read the letter aloud. They all crowded round and after broke into applause and cheers, shouting and singing. Amid the uproar, music struck up, provided by a tambourine, a bugle, and a guitar. It was absolute discord, but it served as a backing for the noisy voices of the boys. The result was wonderfully harmonious. Worn out with all the laughing, joking, singing, and I would say the yelling, we reached our destination. The perspiring youngsters gathered in the courtyard of the shrine and were soon given food, enough to satisfy their voracious activities. When they had a while to rest, I called them all around me and told them all the details of the wonderful history of the basilica, with its royal tombs in the crypt and the ecclesiastical academy which Charles Albert had established there and the bishops of the kingdom of Sardinia supported. Dr. William Odioso, the president, generously provided the soup and main course for all the guests. The parish priest donated the wine and the fruit. We took a couple of hours for a tour of the area and later assembled in the church. where many people had already taken their places. At 3 p.m., I gave a short discourse from the pulpit, after which some of the best choir boys sang a tantum ergo. Their clear voices and the novelty of it won everyone's admiration. At 6, we sent up some balloons to signal our departure, with renewed and lively thanks to our benefactors. We struck out again for Turin, singing, laughing, running, and sometimes praying on our way. When we got to the city, the boys dropped out of our procession, a few at a time, at points along the route closest to their homes, and returned to their families. When I got back to the refuge, I still had with me 7 or 8 of the strongest lads who had carried the equipment used during the day.
Thank you for joining us today on this journey to know Don Bosco. May these reflections deepen our faith, guide us closer to God each day, and hope to see you all tomorrow. Till then, keep seeking, keep praying, keep growing.